welcome to the Week Ahead Show. My name is Kai Fletcher. I run the Week Ahead Show. I also run the Instagram. So go check it out. Link will be in the description of this video. Match preview and team news has just came in at the brewery for tonight's game. Let me just get it up for you. So starting in goal is Daly. Going right back to left back, we've got Magnay, Curtis, Tate and Blakeman. Curtis obviously being the captain of the club today, well for now. Spencer and Kennedy as the two holding midfielders. McLean and Hall as the two wingers. Ranshaw sitting behind our number 9, Glenn Taylor. And I'm going to talk about the issue with Carl Magnay and what I expect from tonight's game. So, if I start with this team news, honestly, the team it's not as strong as I would have liked it to be. Brackley, we all know, tough side. We beat them in the playoffs 2 seasons ago, and last season we drew 0-0 twice with them. And they were with some strong sides. This one, I feel like it's a little bit weakened, playing Curtis and Tate at the back. It's almost like playing Curtis and Chris Mason at the back, because Chris Mason, he was not the tallest of players for Spenny Mower, but he was good, if you know what I mean. So, like, he helped out the defence pretty much. I think that's what Joe Tate does. Like, I would have obviously loved to have James Curtis and Nathan Buddle, but Joe Tate is fine, and he's a good defender. When we had him for the previous seasons before we sold him to York, he was incredibly good for us. He helped us get to the National League North. And I think that's what we need in the squad for when Curtis leaves, because Curtis is such an important player for Spenny Mower. Once he goes, I don't think the squad would be the same, and I think that's one where we need to work on when he leaves. We need to get that sort of player in where they're not afraid to put the head in where it hurts, like James Curtis does. You can see by how many head injuries he gets in a season. He gets at least 4 or 5 in a season, which is incredibly insane. But yeah, Jose and Curtis at the back, it's it's a strong partnership, and it's a well-known partnership. Obviously playing together before Joe Tate was sold, and I think that them two at the back, they will be strong. However, I would have liked Nathan Buddle in, because I know what he's capable of. Spencer and Kennedy in midfield. Now, I want to talk about Jason Kennedy, because he's a good midfielder. He's a strong midfielder. He's a clinical midfielder. And the one thing that he lacks is pace. Playing in that holding midfielder role, he's going to get forward, but he's also got to get back. So when he's pushing forward, when we're attacking, he does not have the pace like Jamie Chandler, like Jamie Spencer. He does not have the pace like them, so he struggles to get back. And I think that's what we've been missing this season with Jamie Chandler being out. I'm going to talk about that in a bit after I get on from the Magnay situation. So yeah, I think that's just what we lack at the minute. So Adriano Moke, I don't think he's on the bench. He is not on the bench. Thompson, Mulhern, Buddle, McKenna and Forbes on the bench. And I think that's just a weird one, because in there we do not have a midfielder or a sub-midfielder. McKenna technically counts because he's playing as a LA left attack midfielder, but let's be honest, it is a left wing midfield role, but there's no real central midfielder on the bench. So if if Spencer or Kennedy goes down, that's it. There's no option to bring on unless McLean goes into midfield and McKenna comes on for him. But that's just an if. But say we wanted to take him off in the second half and we didn't have that midfield role. So what I would have done is I would have took Mulhern off the bench, put Kennedy on the bench and playing someone like Adriano Moke or Mark Anderson. He's not on the bench either, which I think is a real miss for Spenny Moore for today's game, because he just brings that creativity and those clinical chances for the club as well. McLean on the left hand side of midfield again, he just does what he does. He's been incredible when he's been playing that. He can play right back, he can play left back, he can play as a winger as well. So he's such a versatile player, and I think that's one thing this club's been missing over the past 3-4 years, that have been really vital for us. So yeah, that is very good to have a versatile player once again in Scott McLean, and he's just an awesome player. He's just a really awesome player in my opinion. So I'm glad to have him in the squad. There's one player who we haven't seen a lot this season, and that was the player he came in with. I forgot his name. Let me have a look for his name. Actually, I can't be bothered. I'll find out his name soon. But yeah, I haven't really seen a lot. He was a centre defender, and we haven't seen a lot of him. I think I don't know. I haven't heard of anything of him being loaned out. Hall on the right, he's coming back into the squad over Ben McKenna, which is what we love to see. In that 2018-19 season when Spenny Moore got to the playoffs, he was vital for the club. If he got injured, that was it. We weren't going into that playoff spot, because he was just so clinical. If he played balls into the box to Taylor or to whoever we had on the other side of the pitch, I think it was more than likely Lewis Hawkins, but if and he's obviously gone. But if we didn't have Ryan Hall that season, I genuinely think we would not have got into the playoffs. And you could see that from the 1920 season, the one that got abandoned. You could just see how much we were missing him by playing. Who was it on the wing? I don't know, but you could just see that's why we never made the playoffs. And I think that's what Spenny Moore need to work on, getting players in who are like Ryan Hall. And apart from Ben McKenna and Scott McLean, they're literally the only ones who I think could do a job. Stephen Thompson, yeah, he's on the bench. He can play on the wing, but let's be honest, he's a striker. Ramshaw, Tatamedi just does what he does. And then Glenn Taylor up front. The man, the myth, the legend. Now, Magnay. The situation with Magnay is he is on the transfer list. Spenny Moore have confirmed he's on the transfer list. My thoughts on that, not good. Spenny Moore Town, why would you want him on the bench? He is such a class player. We signed him. He's played for Chelsea and Hartlepool beforehand. Yes, he's getting on a bit, and yes, he may not be as good as Tyler Forbes, but let's be honest, he's a good player to have in the squad. He's like Curtis. He brings that positivity to the squad, and he brings that connection to the squad. I keep saying a lot. I think what we need is another player like Carl Magnay, because he's just class. He's one of them players who you don't want to let go of. So for that reason, Magnay, unfortunately, mate, you have been put on the transfer list. Personally, and I think this goes to other fans as well, you shouldn't have. And I'm going to be totally honest here, but Carl Magnay should not be on the transfer list. Even if he is just a sub, you should not be on the transfer list. You are a world-class player. That means we would have to go in and sign another right-back. And that's just a waste of money unless he's a free agent. But surely we'd be looking for someone as good as or better than Tyler Forbes. Next up, Jamie Chandler. He has confirmed. Well, this was quite a while ago. I think it was early November. He said he was going to be out for 9 to 12 months. It's now December, so he is looking at. I think he has started rehab. Well, I think he's looking to start rehab. He went into an operation and it was successful. It was grand. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him as a player and just as a person in general. And I think we need him back as soon as possible. Obviously, yes, we need to ease him into the squad, like ease him back into the team, but we need him back starting as soon as possible. He said he was going to be out for 9 to 12 months. It's now looking at a 7 to 8 months before he's back, so what's that? We're in December, so January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So it's probably the start of next season by the time he's just getting eased back into the squad, which is unfortunate. Dale leaving goal, he's just going to do what he does. And what was the other thing? That's it pretty much. Match review will be out after the game. This is probably looking to go out just before the game, maybe as soon as the game starts. So yeah, thank you for watching. I've been Kai Fletcher of The Week Ahead. Thank you and goodbye.